This is one thing that we need to identify, that quantum physics has been the groundbreaking factor of science. Yeah, the driving force of science.
Yeah.
And they have approached this. They've approached the realization that okay, we can't carry on being so objective. Subjectivity, through experience of this, has shown to us that we need to take subjectivity into consideration.
Exactly.
They say we need to create a new science to identify what is consciousness, you know? Because this is another thing. Consciousness, we all have our own interpretations of it, but no one actually really knows, you know? Within the four major fields like science, neuroscience, philosophy, psychology, they've got a million definitions. The most practical is probably neuroscience. They say that it's chemical reactions, but after again, like it just branches off. And plus, sorry, with neuroscience, they haven't mapped the whole brain. You know, it's based on. I would bluntly say it's based on assumption from what they've gathered so far. And they say we think that it's chemical reactions based on what we've understood so far, but we will never say that it actually is. And these phenomenons that happen within neuroscience that contradicts these understandings. One being, one example was presensory reflex. So basically, just to get this down right, you know, how they've come up with these understandings that it's chemical reactions is because they will, you know, hook some test up to their brains, and they'll give them give a subject up, a person, some colours, and it'll light certain parts up in the brain.
Exactly.
You get what I mean. With presensory reflex, what they did for that is that they will get a person to observe a computer screen that would give up shapes, colourful shapes, like it might be a red square, blue triangle, whatever. The fascinating thing, and they recorded the instances in which the person recognised the shapes and when the computer presented these shapes, right? And the fascinating things that they found out is that the person experiences these shapes an instant before these shapes are produced by the computer.
That's really.
And they're like, how is it that someone sees something before it even happens? You know? And this is one phenomenon, and people are like, what the hell's going on here? So, and this is just one. Like these many phenomena that don't work with this understanding, and so all of these phenomena need to be approached because it is being shown. You know? They can't just be ignored. You know. So anyway, what we're trying to get across is that consciousness is not yet defined. We need to scientists have been saying, you know, we need to come up with a new science that is focused on consciousness. What is consciousness? You know, what is subjectivity?
We've established this fact, as you said.
I mean, I don't know if it was fact, but
I'm sorry. It's a fact.
So that's one major thing that we have to come to terms with first is actually taking into consideration subjectivity and whatever that means. Cool.
And we've understood, kind of understood that unless and until there is an observer, there is no experience. So, in other words, everything that we understand from science, the objective reality, is based on the fundamental concept of being
subjective.
Having that subject there to observe the objective reality. So, in other words, everything falls upon the subject. If there is no subject, there's nothing. There's no reality, there's no scientific truth, or there's nothing, basically. So, it's because of the subject that this outer creation comes into being, in a way, because we've understood this, infinite possibilities, we get these infinite possibilities into a static one possibility, and we project that and we understand that. Now, if that's true, then this reality depends on us. So what is more fundamental to study? The outside reality?
Or the us, that is.
Or the creator, which is creating this reality? And, you know, and this is where mysticism comes into play. When mystics talk about what they've been doing for thousands of years, is basically they've started studying truth through subjectivity itself. They don't want to go into duality at any point. Their whole search, their whole approach is
the nature of
reality. That means studying the creator itself, and that means studying yourself. Studying your own.
And this is why they call it the inner science.
Exactly.
I mean, they might have come across as pseudoscience along the years, but the more you look into it, the more that you and use your distinction, use your logic to identify what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see that it's rational in a subjective way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
Yeah, like, unless and until you understand your own being, there is no way you can understand the reality that you project.
Yeah, that you are observing.
It makes complete sense. Like, unless and until you understand how, the molecules of water are, like, whatever, the atomic structure of water is, you will not understand what water is.
Yeah.
So it's essential to study the core, the source of the reality that you want to understand. So that's what the mystics have been doing for thousands of years. They've started looking for truth using their own being. Okay, if you understand yourself, that is why a lot of philosophies and a lot of mystics in the past have said, that's what I think it's a very known quote that know thyself.
Yeah,
if you know thyself, you know everything.
Yeah.
And that's.
And I mean, it's not meaning know thyself as in like this human being.
Yeah.
We're talking about the subjectivity of that.
Yeah.
Knowing the subjectivity. What is the thing that sees?
Mm-hmm. It's basically consciousness is the ground for everything. Basically, consciousness is the fundamental factor that governs everything. That's what quantum physics, at least, is trying to tell us, that everything is consciousness. Everything is coming in and out of consciousness. Everything is there because of consciousness. So if you study consciousness,
maybe you
crack
can
the code. You found
it. And that's the next step. We need to
that's the next step. How do you study consciousness?
Yeah, what is consciousness?
It's what is consciousness? What do we think the mind is, and how all these things come into play?
Because it's quite funny how we forget to analyse the most apparent, natural, simple thing that we are in. And that is our experience. I mean, it's with us since obviously day one.
Yeah, and this is one interesting thing that you just said. Like, if you observe a bit, like as you said, truth is unchanging at all times. Your consciousness, your being has never changed since childhood. You're still the same. Everything around you changes. Your body changes. Your circumstances changes. Everything changes. But you are the same. You don't change. Maybe your mental, emotions change. Your thinking changes. But you, the observer, just pure observer, are still the same.
That's what they call the I.
That's
the isness.
The isness, that essence of everything, that essence that never changes. I think. If you study that, then we are getting closer to understanding the truth.
Yeah.
The phenomenon of everything.